Wild Review. I'm the Wild Reviewer, and today I'm going to review a thing. Have you ever given a review on something and years later you wonder if what you said still holds up? Well, I have! Hi there, I'm the Wild Reviewer, or at least I was told that's who I am, and this is Rewild, a sequel series to an old review show I used to do called The Wild Review. It ran for 6 seasons from 2015 to 2018, and some of the things that I've talked about, I have different opinions on. Or maybe I don't. That's the whole point of this series. If you are watching this, then that means you are joining me on an adventure as we are going to take a journey into my past to see if what I said in a previous Wild Review episode still holds up. We're gonna make comments about how young I used to look and stupid I used to sound sometimes. It kinda depends on what I was talking about. So, unless you have somewhere else important you need to be, which I highly doubt, seems like you're gonna be taking a journey with me into the past. This is the Wild Review Rewild.
Wild like wild.
I thought the name was cool. Hello, welcome to the Wild Review, the Wild Reviewer, and welcome to the final episode of Rewild for this season. Merry Christmas, everybody! Ho, ho, ho! It's the holidays! Hooray! Let's talk about Home Alone. Back in Season 2, I did a video where I discussed the idea of there being so many different Home Alone films. At the time, there were only 5. The new one obviously hadn't come out yet. It was 2015 when I made this video, and Disney Plus was not born yet. Here's what's interesting about this episode, though. I made this video without seeing any of the Home Alone sequels. And I'm very much aware of this when I was filming the episode. So the mindset I had for this episode was I was just going to give my opinion on how the Home Alone sequels have affected the Home Alone film and why it wasn't a great idea for these sequels to be made. I think at the time I definitely saw the original Home Alone. I'm not entirely sure if I saw Home Alone 2 in its entirety, but I was aware of Home Alone 3, and I know for a fact I saw little snippets of Home Alone 3, but I hadn't seen the full thing. So isn't that fun? Isn't that great? We're reacting to a video I did where the thing I'm talking about, I don't even have that much knowledge on. Great content. This was also the start of the Christmas episodes for the Wild Review. There was this episode, and then I talked about the Nickmas commercials, which I actually rewilded last year. And then I watched A Fairly Odd Christmas. That was a film that I saw. I don't have any plans to go over the Fairly Odd Christmas movie anytime soon. Maybe that'll be next year's holiday fun. For now, though, let's take a dive into what I had to say about the Home Alone sequels that I had not seen yet. Oh, that's charming. Yeah, that's really nice. It's always good to start an episode with blowing your nose. Everybody has their different ways on celebrating this holiday, and my way includes watching a whole bunch of Christmas specials. I'm sure that's everyone's tradition, though, around this time of year. We all have our favorite holiday specials that we love watching on ABC's 25 Days of Christmas. You know, like all 3 Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen. Holy Christ! ABC Family was not Freeform yet. This is pretty interesting. This is a product of its time. This is before ABC Family became Freeform. Although, if you want a fun little history about the ABC Family channel, what is now known as Freeform was ABC Family, but it used to be Fox Family, which actually but even before then, the Family called the Family Channel. That's a little fun history for you. Is completely different and was made only a few years ago. And why are there 5 Home Alone movies? Yes, the myths are true. There are 5 Home Alone movies. I didn't even think that was real. I didn't think there was a Home Alone 5. I knew there was a Home Alone 3 and a kind of a Home Alone 4, but I didn't know there was a 5th one. I didn't know this series continued on. Like, ever. I don't see the point in making sequels to a classic holiday film. That's like taking Tom Hanks and making him put a knife into Santa's heart and then declaring him the new Santa. And then we get a whole bunch of new Santa Claus movies. You know, Santa Claus 4, Santa Claus 5. It's not right. Now, in my defense, I'd like to clarify right now that I have not seen Home Alone 4 or 5. I've seen 1, I've seen a little bit of 2 and 3, but I've never fully sit down and watched Home Alone 4 or 5.
Oh no! You haven't seen the sequels? You can't be talking about this!
Really though, I shouldn't. I shouldn't be making comments about something that I hadn't seen yet. Although the idea of there being so many sequels, and obviously looking them up, that they are not well received. I mean, once you make a sequel and it doesn't do very well, why would you make another sequel? So, you know, you could have gone along with that, which I think is what you're trying to do here, but, you know, just don't give a review on what you're talking about because you have not seen the movies. So it wouldn't make sense for you to do that. Let's start off with Home Alone. So it stars Macaulay Culkin playing a little kid named Kevin, who comes from a really big family, and he kind of gets fed up with the stuff that's been going on in his family's life, so he wishes his family just disappeared. The family then gathers together, packs their stuff, and gets on a plane to go to France for Christmas. There's just one little thing they forgot. Their passports? Their suitcases? No! It's their son, Kevin. I've talked about Home Alone a few times now. I've talked about it here, and I've talked about it in the 25 Wild Christmas Review Days episode. I mean, I'll give my opinion again, I don't mind. I love Home Alone. I think it's a really fun film to watch. I don't necessarily watch it every year. It's not one of the films I have to watch, like a few other films that I make sure I watch every year, but it's definitely a classic. If it's on TV, I definitely watch it. And the slapstick is great. It has the same characters, played by the same cast members, and it's called Lost in New York. And the story surrounds, yet again, Kevin and his family, as his family plans on going to Florida. And they got everything. Why do I say Florida that way? As his family plans on going to Florida. 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 It's a state. And then there's Home Alone 5, what is it? And then there's Home Alone 5 with more not original cast members and different characters called The Holiday Heist. Yeah, that's right. It was made in 2012.
Heist!
Basically about
the word is heist. The holiday heist.
So, why were these made? Why couldn't the producers and writers and film directors and studios be happy with Home Alone, the original, or maybe even Home Alone 2? Why did they have to make 3 others? Because money. That's what all this is about, money. Anybody will do anything to get money in the film business. That's what all this is about. And I understand that that's why they made these Home Alone movies. But I don't understand why they didn't just make them standalone movies. Yeah. Why do you think anything in Hollywood is made? It's for money purposes.
Hey boss, we need something new that people are gonna like so we can make a lot of money here. Well, iCarly was a really big hit. Let's just bring that back. Don't you fear that it might ruin the franchise? No! It made us a lot of money the first time. It's sure to do it now.
I don't know why I keep bringing up Dan Schneider's shows. Is that the theme for this season? I'm not entirely sure why I keep bringing that up. I guess because when I'm thinking reboots, the iCarly reboot is the only one popping to mind. What else has been remade? Jurassic World has been remade. I haven't seen Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, so I can't really make a comment on that. Home Alone sequels, they were made because of money. That's why anything's made. That's the honest truth. So, yeah, that's the little thing I wanted to discuss on why there just had to be so many Home Alone movies. Do I think they're needed? Absolutely not. I think you'll be fine this holiday just watching Home Alone 1. And if you're bored, maybe Home Alone 2. Alrighty, well, that's all I had to say in regards to the Home Alone sequels. At the time, I did not see any of the sequels. However, being that it is about about 7 years later... Really, it's been 7 years. Being that it's been 7 years later, I have successfully seen all 6 Home Alone films. That's right, I saw the first one again, and I saw the second one. We already know that. I've seen those films. But since then, I have seen Home Alone 3, 4, 5, and last year when Home Sweet Home Alone came out, I saw that film. And I gotta tell you, there is a lot that could be said about these films. But the main thing that I want to get out is that they are not great. Just leave it alone. Just leave Home Alone home. Leave it home. There was no reason any of these sequels needed to be made. It's not even like they hurt the original film, but it's just now we have all these extra films that need to be carried by the original. You know, some of them don't even relate to what goes on in the first one. What happens is these kids are left home alone. I mean, not even left home alone in the same sense of Kevin. What is it, the third film, the kid's left home because he's sick and his parents keep going back and forth to work. The fourth film, he's not really home. It's a different version of Kevin in this film. He's not really home alone. He's with the butler in that film. There's a whole story with that. And the fifth one, he's left home alone, but he's with his sister. The sixth one, yeah, he is left home alone, this kid. But the sixth one is on a completely different level because it doesn't really focus much on him rather than it focuses on the burglars, which again is a whole nother story. There is obviously a lot of context that I'm not giving in terms of these Home Alone films, and I wish I could tell you everything about these films, but it would just take way too long. They deserve their own little reviews in a way, but the short of it is these Home Alone films did not need to be made. That's just the basic truth. But with what I just said, I think I would need to give you a little more examples as to why. Because I can sit here and tell you that they are not great, but giving you that little summary, that may not satisfy the review necessarily. I mean, there's so much that happens in these films that I would physically have to sit down and take the time to tell you beat by beat of what happened. Maybe not even beat by beat. Let me get that out of the way. Let me throw that away. Get out of here! In order for me to truly explain how not great these are, I would have to do a video separately talking about each Home Alone film. But that doesn't really fit with the whole theme of Rewild here. And last Christmas, I gave you a fun little review. I gave you the review of Nickelodeon's Ho Ho Holiday Special, which was very simple for me to do. It was just a TV special, and it connected with what I was talking about, and that was fine. But this isn't just one thing. This would be 4 different things. So I can't just sit here and go over every single movie because it doesn't necessarily fit within the theme of Rewild. And at the same time, while I can stand in my little corner over there and talk about all 4 films, not only will it take a very long time for me to do the filming, I'll probably finish within a few hours from now, which I don't have the time to do that, but I also don't want to spend so much time editing this really long Wild review episode. In fact, that'll take the attention away from the Rewild theme. So I would legitimately need to do 4 different Wild review episodes on these 4 different Christmas films. But do I just do these reviews separately, or should I just merge them with something? It's Christmas time, and I'm talking about Christmas films. This is essentially where I'm going with this transition. That's right, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.
Wild like wild.